All right, what's happening, Ward Wrestling Live, first show of the day. Actually, I'm really honored. I've got my first guest ever back. It's you guys know him affectionately as NATO. It's Nathan Tomasello, four-time Ohio State high school champ, four-time NCAA All-American, one-time NCAA champ, four-time Big Ten champ, Big Ten distinguished scholar, scholar athlete, and all Big Ten scholar athlete. And man, he's here. He's back. My first show was just it was amazing because you were on it, but it was horrible because I was hosting it. So now we gotta. I've come along a little ways, and I know you were in that little gym you were working out at the time, wondering if Worlds was going to happen or USA was going to happen. It was early on through this, but man, welcome back, and again, thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on. I know you just finished practice.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. It's an honor to be back on episode 235. Or show 235, so great things have been happening with you.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute pleasure, and I've gotten to meet so many good people. I've gotten to learn so much. So again, great to have you back on. But first of all, obviously the big, before we even get into a bunch of these questions, the big elephant in the room these days is COVID. I know initially when we talked, it was only about 2 weeks into it, and there was still some unknowns. We weren't sure. We were hoping to get through this. Well, here we are months later, and we're still battling. But I know you've been traveling a lot, doing a lot of camps and clinics. So I guess two things: how has it affected your training, if it has at all, and your off-season goals? But what have you seen around the country that seems to be the same, seems to be different? How are these clubs and clinics going?
Well, I was supposed to do more in June, and then so a lot of them got pushed back to July. And I love camps. Honestly, it makes me re-energizes my love for the sport in a sense where you're just connecting with great people and learning and just opportunities to just like pick people's brains, and not just in wrestling, but just in business and life and other aspects of things. And it's fun. It's fun seeing different areas of the country as well. And I don't know, I just enjoy traveling, especially when there's not really like big tournaments coming up or something like that. It just gives me opportunities to kind of relax, make some money, teach some kids, try to make an impact, mentor people. And then I feel like I learn as much as the kids learn in areas where I least expect it. So it's great. It's been fun. I was hoping to go to New Orleans. There was a camp that I was supposed to do in June, but I've never been there. So that's one area that I'm hoping to go to. That and Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii, but I've been kind of all over with clinics, and it's been an honor to people bring me in, for just to teach their high school or whatnot. So
yeah, it's got to be fun. Now, what have you seen? What have you seen that's kind of having to be done differently at these clubs and clinics, or how have people adjusted to, bringing kids into the room through this?
Yeah, well, some people actually test your temperature as you get in, which is pretty cool. Others just kind of keep it in smaller groups. Like one camp I was doing, there was like smaller groups of kids, and some of them just have to kind of be like where they don't bring, like I said, they don't bring it. It's just kind of their club as opposed to people all over the area. So it's just like smaller groups in a sense, and then just kind of being careful, doing a lot of hand washing, a lot of like cleaning after every practice, stuff like that. So little things like that, I think it's been good. I've actually had one or two companies kind of hit me up about possibly like with cleaning supply stuff and trying to promote like personal hygiene, which is kind of cool, because it's like sometimes that gets overlooked. And I think one of the areas I feel like that I guess been more emphasized is just having better hygiene, cleanliness in a sense where you really need to be really smart about it in that sense.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's nice to see around the country that they're starting to open up a little bit. As I said, my wife is very strict, so my kids aren't allowed out yet, but I do definitely respect those that are opening and trying to keep the sport going and, taking the right precautions and doing it the right way. So that's awesome. We were talking a little bit before, and I didn't know this until you just said something. You're first generation wrestler. So your family, your parents, no one was involved. So I'm guessing it all started out at Cuyahoga Christian Academy, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I started actually back in the 5th grade. One of my close friends lived in the same street as I did. They'd hang out a lot. He picked up a flyer for a youth wrestling practice, and at the time I was doing other sports. I was like, I really had no clue what it was. I thought it was the stuff you saw on TV, like with The Rock and other John Cena and Rey Mysterio, and I was just like, I don't know if that sounded that appealing to me. I just kind of like watching it. So a couple years go by, and he keeps bugging me to go. He's like 2 years into it. He's like, you should try it. I'm like, I don't know. Well, one of my practices got canceled, and I ended up going up with him, and it's a lot different than I expected. And so long story short, I got into the practice, and it was like interesting. So I went through it the first year. I made the district tournament, and I was like, I don't know if I want to keep going. Well, another youth coach saw me compete, and he's like, I really want you to come to my youth program, and why don't you come to a 3-day clinic this summer? And I was like, I don't know. Well, my mom pushed me into it. 3 days into the clinic, by the end of it, the camp, the coach was like, you're not leaving. And I was like, all right. So to this day, we talk on the phone probably every month. And he's been the first person in my journey with the sport that has helped me kind of start in a good direction. He took me kind of all over for clinics and also for tournaments. I went to Tulsa and Reno Worlds, and it was just really cool. My parents weren't that wealthy, they didn't have too much money at the time, so it was just him and I actually that would go places, and from that point on, I started getting better, and then as I was looking at different high schools, WWL was one of the ones that was close to one of the clubs I trained at, and I shadowed there. I went to Disney Duels with the team, and fell in love with the coaches and with the team, and committed to go there. And that's where kind of my faith journey began. And I didn't realize it at the time when I went there, but that was the exact reason that helped me kind of even progress more, not only in my wrestling, but just using the sport as a platform to glorify Christ, And it was just like, I felt it right when I got there. I mean, it was a 7th through 12th grade school, and I got in as a freshman. And so most of the people I've been there already 2 years, and I thought I'd be an outcast. I really didn't know anybody. And long story short, I made some friends. I felt really welcome there, and it was just like, it was incredible, and I trained super hard, and it was just super intense, and wanted to get the most out of my abilities, because I knew I'd been gifted physically, and now I just wanted to put everything I had into the sport. And so it's been that way for a while,
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you just went on to win 4 state championships, win 166 straight, hold the record for like wins, pins, takedown. I mean, you're definitely. Oh, by the way, you did a couple things there while you were there. So, and it's cool to hear how important those youth coaches were in your life and are still in your life. So, very awesome, man. And so, obviously, with all that success, you're an Ohio kid, right? Born and raised.
Yep.
Yep. So, was there any other option for you but Ohio State? I mean, I'm not that. I mean, I'm sure there were other options for you, but was in your mind was it always Ohio State? Was that the goal? Was that what you had your heart set on?
I liked Ohio State. My dad was a big Buckeye football fan. He watched the games, and I took a lot of visits actually before I made the commitment to go to Ohio State. I was looking at different Big Ten schools and one or two other schools that just I just wanted to look at just make sure that Ohio State was the right fit. They had a good up and coming team at that point. Logan had won his first national championship, and Kyle and Bo had committed to the team. And at that point, I was like, I could see them. They just broke the top 10. I think they were 8th or 7th. And I was like, man, the team's starting to get into the high caliber realm of like, I could really see the team winning it and being a part of something special. And I was like, it just felt right. The coaching staff I liked a lot. I liked that they had the RTC, and I knew one or two guys already on the team, so it was incredible.
Luke Welch just posted Purdue.
Yeah, I was looking at Purdue a little bit too. They had a good coaching staff. Coach Hinkle I loved a lot. Coach Flieger I loved a lot. He actually came on the Fargo trip my senior year, and I won a junior national championship, and he was in my corner. And so I had a pretty good relationship with Chris for a bit, and same thing with Coach Hinkle. And so it was really cool. It was really awesome just to go on visits and just, especially if you're a recruit, it should be an honor to have all these. I feel like sometimes it goes through recruits' heads that they're just big shot. They just don't look at things from a gratitude standpoint. Like, you got all these great colleges willing to wine and dine you so that you can be a part of their program, So I just felt honored in that sense when I was being recruited, that I knew wherever I chose is going to be a great fit. So
that's awesome. Oh, now I haven't had the honor to speak to the Ohio State coach yet, but I've spoke to quite a few people over the last couple months, and everybody tells me he's a better person than he is a coach. Is that, how much does that play into a lot of people coming into that room?
Yeah, I mean, Tom is, talk about a father figure. He's the same as my youth coach. Like, I'll talk to him. I would say him and I have one of the closest connections out of, I would say, any of the guys he's coached. I talk to him on a weekly basis, and just about stuff outside of wrestling. I mean, just like the same thing with my youth coach. He's just been a great mentor of mine and someone I've looked up to. He never won the national tournament, and he had a great career as a wrestler. But I just think, as a leader and as a person, that's the thing that has separated him and allowed Ohio State to become a top-tier program. And he's just really good in that sense. He's really good at just I would say, connecting with people and just humility, thinking about other people a lot, and trying to help people, and just, he's just very good at that. And I've learned a lot from him. And so when I began coaching, a lot of philosophies, a lot of things that he's taught me are going to be the same things that I'm going to apply into my own thinking and my own coaching and stuff like that. It's just the connections, you make through the sport. So it's been cool.
That's awesome. And another question, I know maybe we touched on it briefly on my first show, but What can we expect from our Florida boy Elijah Cleary this year? It's his senior year, right? And he's been improving. He got the starting spot last year, and do we expect some big things from him this year?
Yeah, he's been working hard. I was down at Lake Highland Prep probably a month ago now, and I saw him down there training, and he's been focused in, working hard in the off season. So I just think the biggest thing is him being able to pull a trigger. You know, he's got great defense, and just having a go-to attack. You know, that's gonna be the biggest thing for him to, I think, get on the podium or be in that top 10 category at his weight class, and just having an attack, you know, that you can score at almost anybody. You know, like for me, from high school on, it was always a high crotch. I felt like if I got to the inside tie or my head on the right side of their body, I was going to score every time because I knew they couldn't stop it. Or that's what I felt like, my attack. And then I had to start transitioning to single because everybody would start scouting my high crotch, and more times than not, it was their back leg. And so it's like, now I have to get to a single, get to that single on the lead leg, and score from that position. So it's just like, just learning that sense, you know. And yeah, you know, I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Elijah, just being able to generate offense on his speed, because he's going to keep matches really close because it's very, very tough to score on him in the room. You know, he's got.
I watched a lot of his. I tried to watch a lot of his matches this year. You know, being he's a guy that we saw in the room, and his brother was coaching my son, and what a great family and great people. But yeah, we always try to watch the matches, and yeah, man, it just seemed like a lot of them were so close. And he's won some, but the ones he lost, they weren't just like a complete blowout, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. So, you know, a question I had was, you know, now you've been, you know, after college, now transitioning full time to compete on the world level and the national level. You know, what has it meant to you? What was the transition like going from, you know, the style you had to wrestle in college to the world style, and what do we have to look forward to from NATO?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just viewing it more as an art. You know, I've been a grinder. I've been someone that always viewed it more as a fight. Like, you're gonna out tough someone, you're gonna be more physical than them, and be ready for that fight. And then I see the international level, and when I watch those matches, and I watch the Russians and other guys, they flow really well. They know when to turn it up. They know when to relax. They have these sprints throughout the match where they relax, and then they sprint for 15 seconds. They put 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks in a row, and then just from different positions. They just, like, you'll see like a cartwheel from an overhook or some other transition that you don't really see in the folk style or collegiate level. They're a lot more loose, relaxed. And that's kind of the thing I think that's been different in, I would say, the foreign style compared to the American styles. Like, we're really tight. We want to squeeze a lot. But then they're just more relaxed. They are quick and just move really well, you know. And I think that's the cool part with that style in a sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure right now it's hard to answer the question of what's next because we don't really know yet, right? I mean, we know that they have said that the Olympics will be next year. They have said that you'll have your world trials. They have said all that, but we still don't know, right? Has any of that been confirmed?
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing with this coronavirus is how long it's going to last, you know, and because they keep trying to put athletics back in sports, and then there's more cases. So that's going to be the biggest question mark, is like when they can find a vaccine and all the precautions that will go into practicing and training and stuff like that, you know. So,
So we'll see, right?
and then the tournament as well, you know, we'll see. It's really interesting, you know. This will definitely go down in the history books as just one of the, just like 9/11, some really major event, and it's lasted a lot longer than I think people have expected. So
I heard someone post, or I saw someone post the other day that our kids are going to have a way more interesting history class than we did.
yeah, right.
Yeah, somebody just posted in the comments. They said that you're somebody that is very passionate about boxing. Will we ever see you go to the UFC level?
Man, I've been doing some jiu-jitsu and gi and Muay Thai lately up at Matt Brown's gym in Columbus. It's just been fun, man. You do wrestling for so long that I did boxing a little bit in high school to mix the training up, do some cross training, and I loved it. And now I'm starting to do different other training forms, and it's just been fun, you know. I guess it's helped now kind of get the different arts back into stuff, and just I've loved it, you know. So I don't know, we'll see, man. I think just the world's the oyster, you know, and I just whatever my heart kind of leads me towards after the next couple of years, you know, like that's the biggest thing, I guess, in my thinking, you know, what I want to do. I think injuries have definitely played into my thinking as well, especially the last couple of years going from different injuries. So just being smart in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I could see myself possibly getting into MMA. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And being that you're coming from boxing, you've been punched in the face, so it's not like something that you don't. I know a lot of people that have come into that think about going to MMA from wrestling, but have never done like boxing or like that. They get punched in the face, and it's like, okay, well, wrestling was fun, but I don't want to get punched in the face anymore. So yeah,
right?
definitely something different.
Getting armbarred and choked out's not the funnest thing either.
So on the world level, and it's funny, we talked about when you guys were younger too, but on the world level, you and even in college, you and Spencer Lee would go back and forth. You've had some wins, had some losses. I'd imagine you guys were going to see you both at next level stuff, whether it's the same weight class or not. But and I know you're friendly, but what does that guy do for your blood, man? What does that rivalry do for you? How do you get up for him? And is he someone that you stay focused on?
The biggest thing is just progressing, getting better every day, focusing on the process. But it is exciting when you know you got someone at that level you got to be to make the team, you know. And I mean, like I said, like we talked about before the show, I think early on when I was in high school, he was a little bit younger than me. And I remember Eric Burnett telling me, hey, you should grab this kid. He's going to be a super stud. He's from PA. And I didn't know anything about Spencer at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll wrestle him, try to help him out. And we wrestled the first time. I was like, yeah, this kid's going to be really good. It'll be fun following his career. And then little did I know that we'd be in the same weight, be competing at the national tournament, the Big Ten tournament, U.S. Open. It's just been fun, you know, just competing against each other. He's a stud, you know, and it's just fun, you know. He presents a lot of challenges in his style. He's very flexible. He's got good grip strength, and he's got sneaky quickness. So it's good.
That's and you know, you were, like I said, you were my first guest, and I've had a bunch of guests since then, and I've talked to other wrestlers that are around your weight class, that are older than you, younger than you, whatever, but are all common goal oriented, and a lot of things I heard was like, man, you know, NATO will call us up and be like, hey, you want me to come down and help you get ready? And they're like, but we're in the same weight class. And you're like, I don't care. Let's get ready. We want the best to represent the world. If it's not me, then you. And that just means a lot. Like, I'm like, wow, who does that, right? So your character is just high, and yeah, it speaks a lot about you.
Thanks, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing, in the U.S. You want to see the U.S. do well. If it's not me, then it's the next best guy or the best guy in the way. I mean, we want to beat the Russians, so it's like, how can we do that? But just by training together, making sure you're just getting yourself ready, or whoever represents the U.S. at the weight.
I think that's part of what made me fall in love with this sport. Like, what sport does that? Like, like you don't hear people calling up their rival and saying, "Hey, come over to the house. Let's work on some things." Like, you just don't hear that. And in this sport, you hear it all the time. So it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't want it any less or any more. It's just you're a team guy, and that's just pretty dope. So before I get into my quick little 10 question thing at the end, but your career has been long so far. You've had your young youth career, your college career. You've been in the world level. Is there a match that you would love to have back?
Oh man, probably my junior year at nationals. I wrestled Clark in the semis. We wrestled at the Big Ten finals. We had some battles, and I remember that match. I was winning, and we got in the third period, and he got me in two Merkles. Ended up winning. He ended up winning from those two positions, and I remember getting off the mat and going up to the stands. I told my parents, I was like, "What just happened?" It just happened so quick. You get in some weird scrambles. Next thing you know, I give up that match, and I think that one hurt a lot. And also my sophomore year as well, I was in on a high crotch to win it in the third, and time ran out right as I was trying to score. So those two kind of come to my mind the most, I would say, out of any matches in my career. Is just little positions, being able to get back. But I mean, that's the sport, Like, you win some great matches, you lose some great matches, And so you just learn a lot, in the sport. The sport is special in that sense, Like, it's very rare that someone goes undefeated in their career, I mean, just Cale Sanderson, right? So it's just like, at least collegiately, it's like you learn, I feel like those kind of matches, I'll help the young Buckeyes and I was just telling D'Amelio, I developed the system from when I get into my high crotch that I learned throughout the years of when guys defended me a certain way, especially if I'm on my feet, how I finish. There's 4 different ways I'll finish depending on what defense they give me. And then it's just like, I'll keep progressing from those 4. It's like they work all in combination. And Kyle Snyder was able to help me out a little bit with that as well. So it's like, if I get to my high crotch, I feel like every time I'm a score now. So you just learn little things like that,
Yeah, it's awesome. What would you tell young kids out there now? Maybe they're in the middle of their high school career and they're starting to get spoken to by different colleges. But what would you tell them to be prepared for college? Because I know a lot of kids, they might be great in high school, but you hit the college room and everybody did what they did.
Yeah. Oh man. I would say just when I first got into college, I was a little homesick. You're used to being with your parents, and your folks, and whatnot, and then you're on your own, and you gotta learn time management, and you gotta be disciplined in your studies, and just motivated. I see a lot of guys do really well in high school. They're multiple time state champs, and they come to this level, and they just kind of fall away, or they drop out, or it's not right for them. When it's just like, if you're motivated and you're hungry to be the best, you're going to do well. You're going to make sure everything's in line so you can get the most out of your career. And it's a lot of things that you have to sacrifice in order to do that. And it's just like, what's your passion? Is your passion to be the best in the sport, or is it to just mess around? And I mean, you only have a short window, I would say, in wrestling to make a difference, and it's just like, if you're not totally bought into it, it's like, why are you going to Ohio State, or I don't know, a big school, like a Division I school? So that's the biggest thing I would say for young kids is it's like, if it really means a lot to you and you see yourself trying to get to that next level and you have dreams of it, you'll be fine. You'll make it work. You'll understand what goes into the collegiate experience, and just be ready for it. It's a grind. It goes fast, but it's definitely a grind. So
yeah, I mean, I had a guy on that took your place at Ohio State when you injured yourself that year, and his whole dream was to wrestle at Ohio State. He could have went anywhere else, but he said, I wanted to go there just to wear that Buckeye outfit. And then when you got injured, he got his opportunity to wrestle a little bit and made his dream come true. And then, now he's out doing clinic stuff and doing his thing. But it was pretty cool to hear him tell the story,
Yep, that's Bracken. He's actually one of my good friends.
Yeah, it was. He goes, it's like talking to. I know some people that play baseball, and they're like, "Yeah, I got drafted shortstop behind, Derek Jeter or whatever." They're like, "Yeah, well, it didn't work out for me, right?" So, well, hey, I'll get into these 10 questions, and we'll get you on your way. I know it looks like you're at another place or facility where you got to go to work. So,
yeah, just getting adjusted quick. Body's getting older. A little quick adjustment. And this guy has been the best for me. He's amazing. Dr. Tyler Kelly. He's in the Columbus area. So
nice. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Buckeye cups or Buckeye cookies?
Cookies.
Hey, the NCAAs or the World Team Trials?
NCAAs.
Crivelli Center or the Horseshoe?
You got to go with the Horseshoe.
The Beast or Iron Man?
Iron Man for sure.
The Columbus Zoo or the Aquarium?
Zoo. I like the zoo.
32 or Fargo?
Fargo.
A burger, the Chop Shop or Bear Burger?
I got to go with Bear Burger. It's good.
Cadets or Pan Ams?
Cadets.
All right, Hound Dogs or Adriaticos?
Adriaticos for sure.
I totally screwed that name up, right? All right, the Medved or the Cornell?
Medved.
Cool, man. Hey, again, thanks for your support. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for always just being great. And I tell everyone, keep kicking life's ass. So keep doing that.
Hey.
All right. And
thanks so much.
Yes, sir. And you take it easy, man. And again, I always ask if you'd like to refer anybody to the show, please feel free and do it.
Yeah, I'll reach out to a couple people, spread the word of what you're doing. So thank you.
Yes, sir. And yeah, go get adjusted, my man.
Sounds good. Thanks. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. God bless.
Thanks.